Today, we're diving into a massive economic shift happening because of AI. But it's not the one you're probably thinking of. It's not happening in Silicon Valley. This is a completely new kind of gold rush for a very different kind of worker.
So let's just start with a number, $260,000 a year. What kind of job do you think pulls in a salary like that? Go on, take a guess. I bet your mind immediately goes to the usual suspects, right? A high-powered lawyer, maybe. A surgeon with a decade of super specialized training. Or, okay, it has to be a top-tier software engineer, one of the people actually coding the AI. Nope, it's none of those. According to the source material we're looking at, that salary belongs to an electrician under 30 with zero college debt who's out there building the physical stuff that makes AI possible. So how on earth did we get here? Well, to really get why this is such a shock to the system, you have to understand the decades-long bias against these exact jobs. For so long, the skilled trades were seen as, well, a plan B. This quote, which our source attributes to Mike Rowe, just nails the cultural attitude we've had for years. The trades weren't a first choice. They were a consolation prize. What you did if the real path didn't work out. And what was that real path? You know it, a 4-year university degree. The source makes it clear that this became the default setting for success, the one-size-fits-all answer. And if you took another route, well, the implication was that it was somehow less than. So what changed? What could possibly be powerful enough to flip that entire script? The answer is a $10 trillion catalyst. See, the AI revolution isn't just about what's on your screen, it's about a physical transformation of the world around us. And this is the part that I think a lot of people miss. AI isn't some magic thing floating in the cloud. It needs a home. It needs steel and concrete and miles of wire. It needs massive, energy-guzzling data centers to live in. And the price tag for that home? Well, the source we're looking at puts it at $10 trillion. Just let that number sink in for a second. That's the estimated investment needed just to build the physical backbone for AI's future. And we're not just talking about the buildings themselves. That $10 trillion covers the whole shebang. The new data centers, sure, but also the huge energy projects needed to power them, and all the fiber and cables to connect everything. It's a total overhaul of our physical world. And when you spend that much money on building things, you create an absolutely insane demand for the people who know how to build. It's a modern-day gold rush, but the gold this time is skilled labor. The demand is so crazy that the source uses the word poaching to describe it. It talks about electricians being lured away from their jobs not once, not twice, but 3 separate times in just a year and a half. I mean, it's like free agency in the NFL, but for welders and pipe fitters. And this right here really shows the new financial reality. On one side, you've got the typical college grad, who's often starting out deep in the red with student loans. On the other, you have this AI electrician making a massive salary from day one, completely debt-free. The gap is just staggering. It totally redefines what a good start to a career looks like. And it's not just electricians either. The source calls these Renaissance jobs. We're talking about steam fitters, pipe fitters, welders, CNC operators. Basically, anyone who can physically build and maintain this new world is in the driver's seat. Okay, so this is where our source material takes a bit of a turn. It offers a very specific political theory to explain what's happening. And I want to be really clear here. What I'm about to lay out is the argument from the source itself. We're just explaining its perspective. So the main idea put forward in the source is that this incredible new prosperity for people in the trades isn't exactly being welcomed with open arms by everyone. It claims there's actual resistance, and for ideological reasons. The source makes its point with some pretty bold claims, like this one. It directly alleges that political figures like AOC and Bernie Sanders want to shut down this boom specifically because it creates a new class of wealthy people who didn't go through the traditional college system. So to build its case, the source presents this stark contrast. On one side, it describes the college path, which it says is promoted by Democrats and often leads to a hamster wheel of student debt. And on the other, it describes the trades path as creating high-income, debt-free workers, a new class it calls elite Joes. The core claim from the source is that this new path is being opposed because it threatens the entire university establishment. And the source doubles down on this theory with another claim. It argues that recent calls to put a pause on AI development aren't really about safety. but are actually about figuring out how to control that $10 trillion pie instead of just letting this prosperity happen for skilled workers. All right, so let's set the source's political take to the side for a moment and zoom back in on the underlying economic shift. Because regardless of the politics, one thing is undeniable. We are watching a revolution in the world of work unfold in real time. But you know what's different this time? The speed. The source points out that technologies like radio and cable TV took decades to really take over. But this AI infrastructure boom, it's projected to surge in months and years, not decades. The whole timeline is being compressed. And please don't think this is some far-off futuristic prediction. The source says leaders across every major industry, from car companies like Ford all the way to the Pentagon, are already hitting the panic button. They cannot find enough skilled people to do these critical jobs right now. And all of this leaves us with one gigantic final question. For generations, we thought we knew the answer. We thought the path was clear. But in a world being remade by AI, the old rules just might not apply. So, when a skilled trade can earn you more than a degree with none of the debt, what path should we be telling the next generation to take? What does that mean for the future of work, for education, and for the American dream itself?